Alright, hello there. I would like to talk about this build that I've been working with in Mercenary League. I found it on PoE Ninja a couple weeks ago, looking for high damage builds on Elementalist. I didn't see very many people playing this at the time, and right now it seems that everyone's playing it. So if you're a new player, or if you're an experienced player, you probably know what it is, what it's all about. If you're a new player and you are interested, I'll try to keep this guide very beginner-friendly. So I want to start by showing off what exactly it does against the Exarch. This is Ignite, Eviscerate, Elementalist. So just to show you like what it's actually capable of here.
Defiance ends here.
It is very durable. It is high damage, and it's pretty easy to get going. Look at his health just draining away right there. And here we go. Come on. Get another hit, and I can maybe skip the ball phase. No. Alright, almost. If I'd been a little bit luckier there, I probably would have been able to skip this phase. I hate this phase so much. Oh gosh. Ow. Okay, yeah. If I were a bit better at the game, this is probably a hardcore viable build, but whatever. It is what it is. Good. Fun fact, your golems can tank those for you. Also, you can block that. I have done it before. Entirely by accident. There we go. Alright, nice and easy. And what did I get? Oh, look at that! How lucky. How much is that even worth? I don't know. I'll check that later. You may have just watched me get, you know, 10 chaos. Or maybe you watched me get 50 divines. I don't know. Anyway, point is, this is Ignite Eviscerate Elementalist, and it is capable of killing bosses. Don't ask me how it does Ubers, because I don't like those. I don't do those. If you're like me and you don't like doing Ubers, you're just somebody who enjoys Path of Exile. You're Path of Exile enjoyer, and you're not a high-tier bosser. This build is absolutely perfect. So, let me explain basically how to get started. Alright, I wanted this to all be one take, but I rambled way too much on the last one. Alright, so, here's how this build works. You start out with Zizzarin's Wave of Conviction, Elementalist, League Starter. This will get you straight to endgame, and it won't be a problem. You will have a little bit of issues fighting bosses, maybe getting your first couple Void Stones, but the story versions, Vita and Exarch should be fine. This build is not endgame, you know, viable. It's just designed to get you to the point where you can make a couple divines. And once you do that, you are all set to switch over to this build, which is Ignite, Eviscerate, Elementalist. You block a hit, you respond with Eviscerate, and the enemy takes a whole bunch of burning damage and they die. It's great. Very simple. Very easy. Doesn't require a lot of effort. So all of your effort can be focused on, you know, not dying. This is great. It's something that I still struggle with. Anyway, the uniques that make this work. The Covenants. It's not super expensive. You can get a corrupted version for super cheap, or, you know, whatever. Look around. And Dyadian Dawn. That is like the de facto fire damage one. Vol's Vision is what I was using when I started. Because I copied this build from Ninja, and that's what the guy was using. And then he was also using a corrupted Covenant. So, like, these lines of text weren't applying. I can show you how to do a replacement for this in a minute. You go with the Taming. Again, it's, you know, not that expensive. Atziri's Promise on the Flask, and Story of the Vol for your sword. I'm not going to go super into detail on all the mechanics. I think I spent like half an hour going into them last time, and I said I was going to make this beginner friendly, so I'm not going to bog you down with a bunch of details. If you want to get into specifics, I can make another video explaining the specifics in great detail. Point is, for less than 2 divines, you can get this gear and start the ball rolling, and then you can start doing your farming. I did strong boxes in June for Rhettorical League, and that made me a ton of money. You know, I got all flame arrows at the Gilded, sold those for a bunch of divines. You know, I got some cool div cards, and I sold those for a bunch of divines, and then from there I was able to craft up, and, you know, I've got awakened gems now. But you can start with the base version, and you'll be doing, I think when I switched over, I was doing 8 million DPS, and then, you know, my gems got a level 20 qual, and I was doing maybe 14, 15 million DPS, and now I'm dot capped, so that's great. So what do you do aside from the uniques on this? You go with evasion energy shield gear, and the rolls don't matter all that much. Get your resistances capped. Get spell suppression on your gloves if you can. For your boots, again, doesn't really matter. You can craft on the move speed, onslaught on kill. You want an amethyst ring because you do want chaos res, and that's an easy way to get it. The rolls, like I said, don't matter. I have cast speed. It's doing nothing for me. And then I went with a Shagering Tower Shield because it has huge chance to block. And I got chance to block spell damage. I think I may have spent like 70 chaos on this. I think I bought this one pre-rolled. So for the hat, if you don't want the... and the amulet. Anoint Ash, Frost, and Storm. That is brown, red, red oils. Sepia, Crimson, Crimson. And then, yeah, that's about it there. The helmets, go with Armor Energy Shield helmets. And so Divine Crown is the highest tier. The +1 level of all minion skill gems is a humongous improvement to this build. Defensively, through like the Stone Golem, and offensively, through all of your others. Absolutely huge. If you can get +2 level, oh my gosh, that's amazing. According to Craft of Exile, that should run you about 1,400 alterations, I think is what the calculation was. I wasn't willing to click that many times. I hit level 1 minion skill gems after a couple hundred alterations, and I was happy there. From there, you can, regal it to make it rare, and you're all good. This specific hat, I put in, I think, around 16 divines into crafting to get it to the point where it's at now, and I'm not even, like, super happy with it. But, that's what happens when you suck with crafting. The rule is be lucky, and I'm not. But yeah, all of that together combines to make a build that in PoB comes out to be dot capped. I do have a mercenary that is giving me 50% increased damage, so if I take that off and I say that the enemy's not covered in ash, that should make my DPS 31 million. So it's still extremely, extremely high. I don't think I have anything else in here that is super... I don't want to pull a little cheese strat in here and accidentally, turn something on and deceive you into thinking that it's higher DPS than it is. You can look on PoE Ninja. It says I'm doing 28 million. So, go by that number if you want. That feels more accurate. This is also operating on the assumption that you have your tincture turned on. If the tincture's not turned on, look at that, 22 million versus dot cap. This tincture is like, this like ties like everything together. There's a couple things in this build that make it work. Absolutely important. Roll this to get good rolls on it. This is a tier 2 and a tier 3 roll. You can get higher tiers than that. Absolutely put the effort into doing that, and you're all good to go. Yeah, like there's a bunch that I could explain more about this build, but overall, it's really simple. It's really cheap to get going. It's really effective, and it will get your ball rolling on getting some actual currency. I was going to record a little bit of a map showcase, and then I rolled an originator map and wasn't paying attention to the mods, and I got completely destroyed and lost, was it 3 portals? Yeah, I lost 3 portals trying to record this. I guess number 1 rule, don't be bad. If you're bad at the game, sorry, no build will help you. And that's why this build wasn't helping me with that. Also pay attention to how the map rolls. I do want to attempt to go back in there and do it. I paid for 6 portals, I'm going to use all of them. But yeah, you saw the Exarch demo. This build's great. Give it a try. It's super good, super easy, super cheap. It's durable. It can do bosses. Don't ask me about Ubers, I don't do Ubers. Don't ask me about originator maps, because I suck. Anyway, that's it. Have fun, Exiles.